SoJO 1049, South Jersey's hit music channel. I'm Heather DeLuca, and I have an extremely special guest with me today. His name is Nick Howard. He's a singer-songwriter from the UK, but he also has under his belt a Voice Germany win. I've never met a Voice winner before.
Oh, really? There you go. I hope I don't disappoint you. That's very cool.
He also has some ties to Atlantic City that we'll talk about in just a moment. But first, Nick, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. It's nice to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about your new song, Our Time.
Thank you.
But first, I noticed that you've been on tour with some of my favorite people over the years. Tristan Prettyman.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
She's a doll.
Yep.
Train.
Yep.
Gavin DeGraw.
Yep.
So as you're, developing and building your own career and your own sound, what have you learned from touring with big name artists like that?
That's a great question. Yeah, I've been so lucky. I really kind of got my break into the music world by getting the chance to open for some bigger bands. Gavin DeGraw was the first person I opened for. A big name, and then I went on tour with a band called Boyce Avenue, and then Lifehouse, and then Tristan and Eric Hutchinson. And I just think I'm so grateful to be able to watch them every night, watch their shows, and see how they interact with the crowd and what they do, and see what songs resonate the most, and then kind of try and recreate that in my own world a little bit. So it's been a real blessing for me to be able to,
So artists like that, when they're headlining, they're doing their own thing.
Yeah.
Are they good to you? Are they nice to you?
They're also
Do they pay you no mind?
Everybody,
I was, sort of wonder. I mean, I think
everybody's.
it's important.
I mean, in the world of the kind of genre I'm in, everybody's very friendly, and I think everybody works so hard. I think you have to be a nice person to have any success in the music industry now. I think the gone are the days of being a so-and-so. Everyone has been super cool to me always, and just by taking me out on the road, for instance, that's such a nice thing to do, to allow me to play for their fans and make my own out of them. And so everybody's been very nice. I wish I had some horror stories for you, but I don't.
Oh no, I just I always like to hear people like Pat Monahan and Gavin DeGraw, just like you said, knowing their path. They didn't always have an easy path to success.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We that was a bit the Gavin DeGraw one. I opened for him at a festival up in Milwaukee, and I remember it was about 10 years ago, and he came out of his bus to come and tell us we did a great job, and it was meant so much to me at that point in my career, because it was my first big show. It's like thousands of people there, and stuff like that goes a long way.
He's fun. He's a fun guy to hang out with.
Yeah.
So Jason Mraz, John Mayer, maybe like Chris Martin from Coldplay.
Yeah.
A lot of influences. I love, but when did you decide you were going to pick up your guitar and try to write your own music?
I was about, I've always loved singing. I was very early, like single digits young, when I, first watched MTV and, saw all these artists and bands, and I was like, oh, that looks like a fun job.
Who do you first remember seeing on MTV? Back to your earliest memory.
I remember seeing Michael Jackson, the first thing. I had this old VHS tape of him doing the moonwalk and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, I can't moonwalk, so I better learn to write some songs on the guitar. So yeah, but my mom had this awesome record player with all these old vinyls, like the Beatles and things like that. So I grew up just being able to listen to that kind of music, which was really awesome. And then I think I just started writing my first songs when I was about 13 or 14, probably because my heart was broken by some girl and I needed to, have
find
some
a way
self-therapy.
Get it out.
Exactly.
So are there girls out there that know that you've written songs about them?
Probably, or maybe they don't know.
Are they happy or unhappy about that?
Mostly, I think. Well, we'll find out after this interview.
So, okay. So what? I think it would be the biggest. I don't even care if it was the worst breakup song ever. She effing hates me. If it was written about me, I'd be like, that's my song.
Exactly. Yeah.
But there has to be a bit of self-confidence to it. When did you think you were good enough at writing songs to say, I'm going to go make a career out of this?
Yeah, that's a great question. I remember distinctly, we did my high school would do this thing called the pop and jazz night. And it was an evening thing one night a week. And I did it one year. I was probably about 15 or 16, and everybody was, I got a standing ovation, and I was like, well, this could work, you know? So I think I remember that was my first my first and I just thought this is great. Maybe I can do this.
Did you do a lot of theater through school?
We were always involved in my friends and I putting on concerts. I still do that now. I run my own little music festival over in Europe, and so I was always involved with bands, and we always wanted to put on events and stuff like that. So yeah, I really enjoy that kind of stuff.
Very cool.
Yeah, so that was the first, and then I went to college and I played a ton in college, and then I came to New York. I moved to New York when I was 21, and I worked in an office. And after the office, I go to work in the restaurant, and after the restaurant, I go to an open mic night, and I did that for like 5 years before I could hit the road. And
it's a grind, right?
Yeah, it's a grind, but it's it's worth it when things go well. It's nice.
What do you remember about making like your first real music in like a studio where everyone's there recording for you and you're working on your own stuff?
I remember it so well. I recorded out in Bushwick in Brooklyn, which now is like, the kind of hipster central.
Yeah.
Then it definitely wasn't. And this is like 2006 or 7. And I'd take the train out. I'd be like the last person to get off the L train. Everybody had got off already. And it was like, and I just remember it being like super cool. And I was like, this is such a great like experience for me. And then having session musicians in a room and like hearing that kind of like professionalism I'd never had like heard in my life. And I just remember just thinking like, this is so like what I want to be doing, you know? And I was so tired. As I said, I was like working during the day, working during at night, then going to the studio after that. But it was kind of felt like a, kind of felt like a movie.
That's the bubble.
Yeah.
That's like your safe, your safe place, your happy place.
Exactly.
So then how the heck do you get from waiting tables in New York to Germany to compete on The Voice? Like, I'm literally talking to like a world traveler. You've been all over the world. Like, true. I'm just here in Atlantic City. So how the heck did you end up on The Voice Germany?
They say this is the center of the universe, Atlantic City. So we've come right to the middle. So around the time I was able to like quit the day jobs and all that kind of stuff, I was starting to go out on the road with bands, and I toured with a couple of bands, Lifehouse, Boyce Avenue, and some others in Europe. And I was building like a nice fan base of my own at that point. Then I signed a record deal over in Europe. And Germany particularly was just one market where everything was going really well. And so then the show asked me if I wanted to be on The Voice as a contestant. I didn't speak German or anything. They asked me if I would learn. So I had 2 months to learn, and I gave it my best shot, and then I ended up winning. So
you did win.
Yeah.
So what's it like competing on a reality show?
I just think for me, because I'd been grinding away for like years playing in like bars, I was like, wow, there's like 10 million people watching me on television. This is so much easier. Why didn't I do this?
Connect.
But like seriously, like all those kind of gigs and the Lower East Side of Manhattan and stuff kind of prepared me for that moment. So when I was on camera, I just felt like this is great.
Yeah.
I've done way worse than this.
So like, do you want? If you walk the streets in Germany, are you like David Hasselhoff?
I wish I could be David Hasselhoff. Yeah, I wish I had the bod.
Do you get recognized?
I do get recognized. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. There was, and I've got still a great fan base over there. And
I'm sure.
Go over there, every year, and I tour, and it's been a really nice market.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, from Germany, somehow you land in Atlantic City. You said you spent a good bit of time at Hard Rock Hotel and Casino here in AC last summer?
Last summer, a couple of weeks after it opened, they asked me to do a residency there. And so I did an acoustic residency for 2 weeks.
In what part of the property?
In the
lounge.
Cafe? No, in the lounge.
Oh, right at the bottom of the big gigantic escalators? Do you remember?
Not that one that's right in the middle, but it's like attached to that really nice restaurant. Like it's got a really long name. It's like a seafood restaurant. I should remember the name. It's there every day.
No, I know I should too, because shout out to Hard Rock.
Shout out Hard Rock. No,
love you much.
It was really awesome, and while we were there, like the week before, I'd done a showcase at CMT, and they said if you make a music video for that song Our Time, we'll play it. So when I was in Atlantic City, I was like, well, I should probably make a music video if CMT are going to play it. And so I got a production company down here in Jersey, and they came and we shot the video on the beach.
On the beach with the steel pier in the background.
And everybody thinks it's California.
No, it is not.
I know, it's AC, baby.
It's America's favorite playground.
Exactly.
Yeah, that big sky wheel. I haven't been brave enough to jump on that yet. I wasn't brave enough
to go on any of those things, but
it goes too slow for me.
Exactly, that's why I didn't go on it.
Yeah, I don't mind if it. I don't mind if it's a high thing, but it's got to go fast. It can't be slow. Well, that's pretty cool because Our Time to me has, especially just this time of year. I always think about graduations and just the ending for some people, and then the beginning is it could have so many different meanings to someone's life. Sure. So what inspired you to write it though?
Yeah, well, I love that you said that, because I think that's such one of the most beautiful things about music is that a song can mean so many different things to so many people, and that's what you kind of hope happens. I wrote it because I just felt like it's no secret that we're always at odds with each other in the world at the moment, and there seems to be people just shouting at each other all the time. And I just think that humans are capable of so much more, and we can be so much better. So I wanted just to write a song that reminded people of that, and music being the unifier that it is. Seems like a good vehicle for it.
Yes.
So
I think during times like this, we turn to artistry, to the creative minds, to like use their powers for good, not evil.
We got you covered. So that's why I felt inspired to write it. And you know, just a random example, but a fan or two reached out to me, middle schoolers in Vermont, and they said that the song really resonated with them, and they had a youth citizen summit that they were doing that Bernie Sanders was going to speak at.
Ah, how about that?
Would I come and play the song? They felt it would fit, and I said I will if you sing it with me. And so if you go on my YouTube page, you'll see like I sing with all these like 200 kids singing outside. It's really fun. But that's the example, like it means something, it meant something to them, and I love that, you know. It's
good.
Awesome. So long may that continue.
Well, I'm happy for you. I'm happy that, you know, those grinding days in New York and probably the long days on having to be on TV and compete on a reality show has brought you to a point where you are now really connecting.
I'm very, very grateful for the opportunity. Always.
Well, it's very nice to meet you.
Likewise,
you want to throw out your socials so everyone can check out your music?
I'm at Nick Howard Music everywhere.
Okay.
Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. You'll find me.
Okay. And you can check out, we'll put in the description box below, a video of Nick's going to sing Our Time for us.
If Southwest didn't break my guitar.
I think we might have a ukulele in the closet somewhere.